everybody, and welcome back to my channel. And if this is your first time here, welcome. This is Essential Patience and I am Patience. In today's video, I'll be talking about 10 financial mindsets that changed my life. I have been into finances and financial freedom since about 16 years old when I got my first job. In my 6 years of learning about finances and dealing with money, I've come up with these 10 that really helped me and hopefully can help you too. So let's get right into them. The first one is cultivating an attitude of gratitude. I actually heard this from a preaching. I think it was a New Year's preaching. So this is coming right in time for this new year. You want to make sure that you're cultivating an attitude of gratitude, which means that you're being grateful for all the opportunities that come your way. Of course, we all know life is not fair. You're not going to get everything that you want when you want it, when you need it. Sometimes you have to go without, sometimes you have to make sacrifices, and things just doesn't seem fair all the time. Maybe I didn't get everything I wanted out of 2020, but I can be grateful for the things that did come. When you look back, you are able to learn from your past. For me, even just looking back the last 12 months, being in school, being able to graduate, get a job, I can't help but be grateful. So many good things have happened, and I think a lot of times it's not always even the big things. We can look at the small things that do happen. Think about all the opportunities that come your way, big or small, and you can be thankful for them. It just gives you an insight where you're going into the future with a really good attitude and you're able to appreciate things and live in the moment as they are, rather than always looking and thinking things are not big enough, this is not good enough, you're not doing good enough, people are not helping you the way they should, life is being unfair. But cultivating an attitude of gratitude really sets you apart from who you were to who you could become, and the amazing life that you can have if you just change your attitude. Moving on to number 2 is being accountable and truthful to yourself. A lot of time when we are being accountable is to other people. When it comes to ourselves, you know the truth, but sometimes we act like we don't just so that we can feel better about our situation. Remember that you are being accountable to yourself. This is going to be the longest human relationship you're going to have with anybody. It's with yourself. I mean, there's always going to be God there, somebody who you have to be with 24/7 and know that it's there. So why are you being untruthful to yourself? This goes into priorities. You can't just say, well, if I make more money, then all my financial issues will be gone. But you might have a spending problem, and you should check out my video. Do you have a spending problem or an income problem? Maybe I'm not prioritizing my retirement. I'm not prioritizing my savings, my emergency fund. Instead, I'm prioritizing going out, eating, splurging, impulse shopping. So you have to be honest with yourself. What are your priorities? What can you do better? Be truthful. Sometimes you just want something and you know you shouldn't get it, but then you get it. It's a human moment. But when you acknowledge it, you're able to change for the future. So we just want to make sure that we're being truthful with ourselves. We're understanding our priorities. We're understanding our habits. And therefore, when we understand our present and our past, we will be able to make the necessary changes to have a fulfilling future. Number 3 is very simple. If I ain't got it, I'm not lending it. When you lend money, and most of the time we're not lending money to complete strangers, we're lending money to people that we know. It really changes the relationship, in my opinion. And so for me, I've made the conscious decision that rather than lend money, I need for something, because it's not like money's just sitting around. I ain't got it like that. So instead of lending somebody money and then holding my breath like, oh my God, I hope they pay, I hope they pay, I hope they pay, I would just give what I can. If somebody needs something, that's it. I'm not a bank. I understand that, they should as well, and I'm setting boundaries. So I give, and then I don't look for it back. If you give it back to me, great for you. If you don't, I'm okay. But I give with no expectation of getting it back. So if I ain't got it, I'm not giving it. Simple. Number 4 is that debt is not always a bad thing. It's about being self-aware. Debt is not a great thing, but my point is it's not always bad. For example, if I'm going to buy a house, I'm going to need debt. Take out a mortgage loan because I don't have full $500,000 sitting in my bank account to buy a house. Now, could I save up to that amount? Yes, but it's going to take a very long time. That by that time, the house that costs $400,000 is probably now costing $600,000. But in my current state, I'm not going to get a G-Wagon, get $100,000 loan on it, and then be like, oh, this is a good investment. This is good debt. Is it? When I went through undergrad, I did not take out any student loan debt. And I'm very lucky that I was able to get through school through scholarships. So going through my master's, I may have to get some debt. Hopefully I wouldn't have to, but if I do, I think of it as an investment into my future and into my career. But I don't see things such as credit card debt as good debt, because in my opinion, the best way to win credit cards is to treat it like a debit card. I only put on their charges for money that I can pay. All debt is not bad debt. It depends on what is going towards. Is it an investment or is it a liability? And you should do that evaluation and determine for yourself. Number 5 is not making my temporary situation my permanent situation. And this is all about the mind. Like, just because you're in some problem today doesn't mean that's what it's going to be for the rest of your life. You have to change that mindset and get out of negativity. Stop claiming negative things and start understanding it is just about sacrificing for a little while, or maybe even a long while. It could be years, so that after you can go on to do bigger and better things. Let's say you did have to take out student loans and live in a dorm, and now you're like in thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars in student loan debt. Well, don't make that your permanent situation. Don't get the mindset that, well, I'm just gonna pay the minimum and I'm gonna die with this. That is a defeatist mindset. Don't make that temporary situation permanent. Sacrifice on that. Maybe you're going to get your budget straight and say, okay, I took out that loan as an investment into my future. Now it's time to pay it off. For the first 2-3 years that I graduate, I'm going to live a very minimalist lifestyle, way below my needs. I'm going to get this debt paid off. You would be surprised how fast time goes. So what would you rather do? Carry big debts, big situations around with you for many years, or are you just gonna buckle down and be like, I'm gonna solve this now? Number 6 is understanding that you can have it all, but not all at once. Now, this was something that used to go around about women having it all. You're being a good wife, a good mother, yet they have promising and very successful careers, and you're being a great daughter, a great sister, a great friend. Like, you're just great, right? Everything in your life is just going immaculate. And with the strength of God, yes, we can do all things, but the truth is that we are only human, and we have to understand that sometimes, do you even want it all at once? The way things appear on the outside is not always what it is on the inside. Being able to balance work, life, school is really challenging. It's not a walk in the park. There are only 24 hours in a day. There are only 7 days in a week. But I know a lot of people find it challenging, and then they come down on themselves because they feel like they're not making it look and making it as easy as it should be, but it's not easy. So for me, I think it's being able to plan my life and know that everything wouldn't happen exactly how I planned it, but I wanted to have a certain structure. Same with other things in your life. Position yourself in a way that you're not putting so much on your plate that you can't handle, because you're gonna have a mental breakdown. And we've seen it happen. A lot of people feel overwhelmed and they just break one day. Life is stressful. We all deal with it the best way we can, but trying to have it all, you can, but maybe not all at once. Number 7 is making financial goals. One of my main goals is not compromising my future for now. So as tempting as it is, seeing people on social media and even around you like living their best life, it seems like people are traveling. How are people doing this? And you want to follow in their footsteps, and you want to buy this car that costs $1,000 a month, and you want to live in this luxury apartment that's costing $5,000 a month. It's a lot of consumerism going on. There's nothing wrong with enjoying your now. You don't know if you're gonna live to tomorrow. Why not enjoy the now? But don't compromise your future whilst doing so. There's a balance to things. Sit down, go over your goals, go over your future. What do you want your future to look like? Dream. There's a long history of people spending so much money that sometimes they don't even have to buy things they don't need to impress people they don't like. Even worse is when people buying things that they don't even like. They don't even like just so they can impress people on the internet that they don't know. People they've never met. Imagine trying to impress strangers you've never met with things that you don't even like. Life is expensive. Save it for your future. And in making those financial goals, we're gonna move to number 8, which is being realistic with them. Don't make unrealistic goals. You're just setting yourself up for failure. Being present in the moment. Part of that is having realistic goals. So here's an unrealistic goal. Let's say I'm making $50,000 a year and I want to save up for a down payment for my house. I know that my expenses per year cost $30,000. I have to pay taxes on things, Social Security, my health insurance, life insurance. After all that, I am left with maybe being able to save $5,000, but I'm gonna need more for my down payments. I'm not gonna say, oh, let me try and save a $50,000 down payment for a house in the next 2 years. Where's that money coming from? You're still setting yourself up for failure unless it comes with something else that is like, okay, maybe I'm gonna get a new job. Maybe I'm gonna get a second job. Maybe I'm gonna get a promotion. Keeping your situation the exact same and coming for bigger and better goals, especially financially when more money is not coming in, you're setting yourself up for failure. Unless you can somehow save after tax $25,000 a year. Maybe you need to move back here with your parents. Then that's an action you're taking place. Exact same situation, having no plans of a change and coming up with all these extravagant goals that you want to do, like with what money? Like it's giving credit card debt. That's what it's giving. If you want to do all these things and you have a lot of financial goals, just make sure that you are pairing them up with realistic actions. And I'm not gonna just be like, oh, next year I'm gonna get a job that pays me $500,000 a year. What's the likelihood? What am I doing to get that? Making realistic goals. Of course you want to dream. Don't stop dreaming. I'd rather be realistic and be blown away than blowing my own mind away and then being brought down to reality, because that sucks. Number 9 is celebrating milestones. Being able to celebrate yourself is such a beautiful thing. I don't think sometimes we do it enough. We need to learn how to reward ourselves when we're doing the right thing and when we're achieving our goals and when we're working hard. For example, you were trying to pay off all your student loan debt and you finally did it. Take yourself out for dinner. What's your next goal? Okay, I want to save up for 6 months of an emergency fund. And then you achieve it. Go celebrate. Take yourself out. Maybe next time I want to save up for a deposit for my house or pay off my car. Like whichever one it is, I think like having a celebration, at least telling yourself, job well done. Acknowledging that something happened. Acknowledging that a door is being closed and a new door is being opened just gives yourself some release that yes, I did good and I can continue to do good and I can do better. Reward yourself, and I'm not talking about self-indulgence, but self-celebration, and just reward yourself for doing and accomplishing your good goals. And the last mindset that really changed my life was the mindset of I'd rather have and not need than need and not have. It really summarized all the goals that I have, is that I'd rather just have and not need it. I'd rather have an emergency fund and never need it than have an emergency and then don't have any funds. Your goal in having an emergency fund is I hope I never use it, but in case I do, I'd rather have than be without. And that's the mindset that if you're able to take it into everything, into many parts of your life, you would realize how fundamental it is to building a stable life for yourself. So another thing I have this mindset in is with retirement. I'm talking to especially people my age about retirement funds. One of the big things is like, well, what if I don't live to be 59 and a half? What if I die tomorrow? Well, we don't know. The average lifespan now is over the age of 60. It's getting into the 70s for practically every demographic in the United States. So we all know that people are living longer. If I die at an early age, then get into my 60s and 70s and still having to work because I saved nothing, or not being able to work and then being in a really bad situation because I need medical expenses or something. Because normally when people get old, they need some sort of medical attention. And I honestly see that for a lot of things. I'd rather have and not need than need and not have. With that, we're bringing this video to a close. Thank you for watching. Let me know, is there any mindset that really changed your life? And remember to like this video and subscribe. It is really going to help on my channel. And if you haven't already, ring the notification bell because I post 2 videos a week on Tuesdays and Fridays. Come over and see what I'm talking about. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.